So, okay, let's offer up prayers. Krishna, please accept humble obeisance. All goes Srila Prabhupada. All goes to Guru and Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Jatam Raghunadanvitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nishtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistukim. Thank you all devotees attending for today's morning Bhagavatam recitation, and also thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak on this subject matter, even though I have no qualification to speak about it. I'm just speaking this for the pleasure of Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada and other Vaishnavas, and especially for my purification. So I hope by talking these things, I can realize some points for myself to implement in my life. And I'm seeking blessings from Guru Maharaj and Vaishnavas present and not present here, so I can speak something beneficial and the time is more useful for everyone. Please forgive me if I have misinformed you because of my ignorance or limited knowledge. I am not expert in the knowledge, so try to speak something with my limited knowledge or what I heard and interpreted my misrepresentation or misinterpretations of things. So in the last chapter, many devotees shared their realizations on the topic of reciprocation of Dwarkavasis on the arrival of Krishna, and also preparing our mood on how to welcome Shri Radha Shamsundar Bhagavan to our altar. And it was really inspiring. And and also when this chapter started, and we have heard many verses, like the last 2 or 3 verses were talking mainly about the Lord's inconceivable potencies, how he has become like a thumb size and entered into the womb of Uttara to protect Parikshit Maharaj, and how he was rotating his club to save the Parikshit Maharaj from the Brahmastra. And and today's verses, these two verses are related, the 10 and 11. And when so how the this would say like how Parikshit Maharaj experienced the Lord's presence, and how in a moment he could not see the Lord. He saw the Lord, but he could not able to see the Lord. The all-pervading Supreme Lord, who is eternally situated in all of us as Paramatma. The way Parikshit Maharaj saw it, but we also experience sometimes the Lord, but sometimes we don't. Most of the times we don't. Okay, I'll read the verses, and today's verses are Bhagavatam, first canto, 12th chapter, 10 and 11th. Astratejas swagadaya niharamiva gopatihi vidamantam sannikarshe paryayakshata kaitas ka ityasau. Synonyms, word-to-word meaning. Astrateja, radiation of the Brahmastra. Swagadaya, by means of his own club. Niharam, drops of dew. Iva, like Gopatihi, the sun. Vidhamantam, the act of vanishing. Sannikarshe, nearby. Prayayakshata, observing. Ka, who. Iti, asav, this body. Translation. The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra. Just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew, he was observed by the child who thought about who he was. 11th verse. Vidhuya tadameyatma bhagavan dharma gupvibuhu mishato dashamasasya tatraivantartade harihi. Synonyms. Vidhuya, having completely washed off. Tat, that. Ameyatma, the all-pervading supersoul. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Dharmagup, the protector of righteousness. Vibhuhu, the supreme. Mishataha, while observing. Dashamasaya, of one who is dressed by all directions. Tatra eva, then and there. Antaha, out of sight. Dade, became. Harihi, the Lord. Translation. While thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone, and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Child Parikshit was not observing a living being who is limited by time and space. There is gulf of difference between the Lord and the individual living being. The Lord is mentioned herein as the supreme living being, unlimited by time and space. Every living being is limited by time and space. Even the living being is qualitatively one with the Lord. Quantitatively, there is a great difference between the supreme soul and the common individual soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, both the living beings and the supreme beings are said to be all-pervading. Ena sarvam idam tatam. Yet, there is a difference between these two kinds of all-pervasiveness. A common living being or soul can be all-pervading within his own limited body. But the supreme living being is all-pervading in all space and all time. A common living being cannot extend its influence over another common living being by its all-pervasiveness. But the supreme super soul, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited, able to exert his influence over all places and all times and over all living beings. And thus, he is all-pervasive, unlimited by time and space. He can appear even within the womb of the mother of child Parikshit. He is mentioned herein as the protector of the righteous. Anyone who is a surrendered soul unto the supreme righteous, and he is specifically protected by the Lord in all circumstances. The Lord is the indirect protector of the unrighteous also, for he rectifies their sins through his external potency. The Lord is mentioned herein as one who is dressed in the 10 directions. This means dressed with garments on 10 sides, up and down. He is present everywhere and can appear and disappear at his will from everywhere and anywhere. His disappearance from the sight of the child Parikshit does not mean that he appeared on the spot from any other place. He was present there, and even after his disappearance, he was there, although invisible to the eyes of the child. The child covering of the child. The material covering of the effulgent firmament is also something like a womb of the mother nature. And we are all put into the womb by the Lord, the Father of the Lord, the Father of all living beings. He is present everywhere, even in the material womb of the Mother Durga. And those who are deserving can see the Lord. Okay. Put my thoughts. So here in the last sentence, Prabhupada was mentioning, those who are deserving can see the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned that Lord reciprocates with everyone the way they wanted to see him. Like the philosophers who wanted to acquire knowledge, for them he appears them through the scriptures. And for the material fruity workers, he appears to them through the desires fulfilled through the demigods. Whereas for the devotees, he personally reciprocates in one of those 5 exchanges the way the devotee wanted to serve the Lord. So who is so in the Prabhupada, like who deserves to see the Lord? So Prabhupada mentions here about the righteous person. So in the Prabhupada defined, anyone who is surrendered soul unto the Supreme is righteous, and he is specifically protected by the Lord in all circumstances. The Lord is the indirect protector of the righteous, or unrighteous also, for he rectifies their sins through his external potency. So only who can surrender unto the Lord, as Prabhupada said, the righteous people, and righteous people are the ones who can surrender unto the Supreme Lord. But how someone can surrender, what are the qualities? Person who is situated in the transcendental knowledge would be able to surrender unto the Lord, because the transcendental nature of the Lord's appearance and pastimes it can be surrendered to the Lord, because these pastimes and the appearance and disappearance are all inconceivable, and a normal mundane person would not be able to accept them as they are. Like, it's always questionable. How is it possible? A lot of people consider the Lord, when the Lord appeared, they considered him as a superhuman than the Lord. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 verses which glorifies there are many verses in the 4th chapter, like 2 verses I'm mentioning. 4.9, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So here Krishna clearly saying that by having the transcendental nature, understanding those appearance and activities, can be relieved from this material world. And the next one is, even if you're 4.35, this one, even if you're considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you're situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So by having the transcendental knowledge itself, so you'll be able to cross the ocean of miseries. So, okay, now let's see like how one can situate in the transcendental knowledge, or how we can acquire that knowledge. Again, Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Krishna gave it like Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So, okay, it's good that, okay, I should go and approach a spiritual master and inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. It's all nice. Can I go and ask any spiritual master, say that, oh, please accept me and give me the transcendental knowledge? So I can do it, but even if I do it, so I won't be able to submissively inquire, and I won't be able to acquire the knowledge, whatever is being imparted from the spiritual master. So, so in order to have that, so I need to have the faith that the spiritual master is the one who would be able to lift me from this material ocean of miseries and put me in the boat of transcendental knowledge. So I'll share two stories related to the faith. So once there were like two friends, atheistic friends, who decided in their college times saying that they would like to stay as atheists forever, whatever situation arises in their life. And after some time, one of the friends becomes a doctor and he builds an hospital. And he invites the other friend for the inauguration. When the other friend visited the inauguration ceremony, and he saw that like there were so many other Vedic ritualistic ceremonies were going on, like the Havan and then the Ganesh Puja and all those things. And he was surprised to see that what made this guy to change his atheistic mentality into these ritualistic things. And he inquires from his doctor friend, why, what happened? Why did you change yourself? So the doctor says, like, I have invested $5 million and it's okay for me to spend another $5,000 or something for these ceremonies. In case if God exists, he protects my investments. I don't want to lose it. So here the faith for this person is like wavering because he is not strong even on the atheistic philosophy or not on the theistic philosophy. He just want to be being opportunistic, like even in case if it is there, if the God is there, so he'll protect me. If he's not there, that's fine. So I'm losing just 5,000, but still my 5 million is safe. And the other story, so like once there was a doctor and it's in the night. He was closing down his hospital to go home. And suddenly a patient comes by and says that he's having severe stomachache and he wanted to be treated. And the doctor says, in my 30 years of experience, I never opened a clinic once I closed down. So I won't be able to open and I don't want to change my principles. I won't be able to treat you. So the patient is persistent that please treat me so I can get better. So doctor finally says, okay. So he puts his hand in the coat pocket and takes something and puts it in the patient's hand. And it's the dark and patient can't experience what it is. And the doctor says, please chew this until you feel better. And please make sure that you don't swallow it. And then patient is happy and they both depart, and patient puts it in his mouth and he is keep on chewing. And after he reaches home, after some time, he feels better. Then he started wondering, what is this medicine? I'm chewing it for so long. It's not melting. It still stays as is. And he wanted to see what it is. So then when he takes out, it's like a coat button. And I don't know, in this case, the faith the patient had on the doctor saved him than the cure what it is. So means a lot of times we need to have that faith in order for things to work. So whenever we are starting something new, like I'm in technical world, like means in the IT world, like everyone has to keep up themselves with the technology to stay succeed. So I'm doing something and I want to succeed. So I want to learn some new skills to succeed myself. So then I would start the learning of the new skills with a faith that I will succeed. If I don't have that faith, then I would not start that activity and we won't be ever be able to proceed further. So, and it's just similar, like I just want to share my spiritual journey. And so it's the same thing, like when I started, like when devotees started talking to me, and I felt that strong faith that, okay, the Krishna consciousness is the process which is going to uplift me from this ocean of material miseries and bring me to Krishna. So with that same thing, when I was executing any services or any activity, any process in the Krishna consciousness, I was feeling that bliss, experiencing the bliss. I could experience Krishna. Oh, nice. Like I never differentiated what activity I'm doing and things. And at the same time, like one of the stories were like, I think it's in the first year or second year of Krishna consciousness, we attended the Japa retreat conducted by His Holiness Rampaswamy Maharaj. And I was able to do like, it took a long time. I'm guessing it's a whole day, I think. I did like 108 rounds of chanting Japa. But now if I look back and think about the 108 rounds of chanting Japa, I think like it's a mountainous, very humongous task. I would never attempt to do it. So it's the same thing. I could do in the beginning because I had the faith is very strong. And as things gets familiar, it tries to wears off, and then it kind of becomes mechanical, and then the experience gets diminishing because we are familiar with the things and then we take it easy. We don't take it seriously. Similarly, when I joined initially, so I saw everyone as the devotees of the Lord, and I never had any thoughts like, okay, how to deal with this person or how to deal with this person and all those things. But as the experience goes, like when I start knowing more, familiar with the people, the mind, the material mind, which is contacted with the material nature, the pure love, it has all thoughts, applies logic. Oh, I need to deal with this person this way. I need to deal with this person this way. All dualities comes, like means you won't be open. Like when those things happens, it is like our intelligence is again being covered. One is that again, Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 30th verse. As fire is covered by smoke, as the mirror is covered by the dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust. Krishna is saying is the lust, but I'm just trying to correlate that to our intelligence is also covered to the degree of our mental speculations, and to the same degree, it takes us away from Krishna. So the judgmental about others based on their actions is, I believe it would be, I believe this is the committing of the first offense of the 10 offenses we recite before chanting the holy name of the Lord. So to blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. And generally it says that hate the sin, not the sinner. So, but a lot of times we go judgmental about others based on their actions. There might be the situations are different, why they're acting. We might need to understand those situations than judging the people by their others. But though we consider these mental offenses not sinful in the Kali Yuga because we are so fallen, so Krishna gave that leverage that you can still think in the mind, but as long as you don't commit physically, you are not, you don't incur any sins. But I'm sure like someone who wanted to progress in spiritually or materially anything, these thoughts, mental thoughts would be hindrances for their spiritual practices. So spiritual progress is a continuous journey, and we can't just do like I got in and I experienced Krishna and then I reached my journey. It's a continuous journey, and when someone is it's like an example, like when in our childhood, like when we want to ride the bike, kids will someone would, when we sit on the bike, someone would push, and then our job is to just to balance, and we don't have to pedal it. So only one activity we have to do. Similarly, when we start our Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives the jump start that gives us the faith, and he let us experience him without less efforts. But the thing is that if we think that is what it is done and experience Krishna, then that's the falling which starts. And it's the same way, like when someone pushed me on the bike and I think that, oh, I'm already biking. And then if I stop balancing it, so that's the fall for me. So I'm going to fall and I'll get hurt. So we need to really protect that push whatever Krishna gave us in the beginning so we can progress well. And so Srila Prabhupada had that same faith in his Guru and Krishna. So even out of so many denials and difficulties, he wanted to spread the message of Krishna consciousness to the world, the message of Krishna to the world. And today morning I was listening to the Prabhupada. He was saying that even though he does not understand what his Guru Maharaj was speaking, he was sitting in there because he thought that is the appropriate and that would bring him to the level of Krishna consciousness. He was saying that he did not understand 70 to 80% of what his Guru Maharaj was speaking, but with the faith and continuous effort, and in 10 years, Prabhupada started 108 centers across the world, ISKCON centers. Similarly, the same faith Prabhupada's disciples had on Prabhupada and Krishna, and they started expanding the centers, and now we have around 600 plus centers, and we are keep on expanding. So this faith is really important when we get familiar with the things and when we go easy on it.
things becomes
mechanical. And also we develop that, okay, it's simple, I can do it. I'm the doer mentality. When that I comes in, the faith goes down and our fall starts. So in order to, let me see, like, who can surrender to Krishna? And not Krishna, for any purpose, like someone want to surrender me, unless I feel myself to be that incapable of doing it, I'm helpless. Only in those situations, generally people try to extend their hand to seek help. So surrender means it's the same thing. Like me, until I feel I'm incapable of doing it, I won't extend for help. So in order for the spiritual progress to get the transcendental knowledge, we need to surrender with the faith that spiritual master is the one who is going to uplift me from this material ocean of material miseries and put me on the transcendental port. So until that time, we won't be able to gain that knowledge. And yeah, until we don't gain that knowledge, we won't have that faith and we won't become righteous, as Prabhupada mentioned, and we won't be able to experience Krishna. But yeah, so just to summarize, just said like means in the initial phase of Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives us faith and he let us experience him by with our little efforts. But with that thought, like if we consider that we reach the Krishna consciousness, we start committing offenses, knowingly or unknowingly, and that keeps us away from Krishna. So we should try to avoid those things, put the conscious effort to avoid those offenses so we can increase the faith, whatever Krishna gave in our earlier stages of Krishna consciousness. That brings us into the mode of surrender and and it let us attain the transcendental knowledge from the Guru, spiritual master. And with that, we can experience Krishna in this life and after. So with that, I'll conclude. And please forgive me if I misspoke anything with my limited knowledge. And with that, yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, then Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for bringing us, about talking about the faith. So some reflections. Is that okay to share something, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhu, yeah.
Many years ago, I had, this is, we go to Krishna not just for, many of us will approach Krishna like, 4 types of people, right? Who wants knowledge, money, etc., etc.
Yes,
so we also basically will go to Krishna for material benefit initially.
Yes.
So I was thinking in that way. What happened was my niece, my sister's daughter, she was supposed to get married. We started looking for her marriage for almost 10 years. She's 31 now. Okay, so 10 years we were looking, nothing happened. And a couple of years ago, actually many years ago, I had heard a lecture from His Holiness Japtak Maharaj talking about one of the deities in Chennai, which is called Nitya Kalyana Perumal temple.
No.
Okay, so what he said was, because I didn't know that, after hearing the lecture only I came to know, because he was in Chennai. That's actually in Chennai only.
Yeah.
And he talked about that Nitya Kalyana Perumal, that whoever is not married, if they were seeking marriage, quick marriage, or at least, so we don't know. The parents, especially mothers, parents know if their daughter is not married for a long time, right? It's really painful for them. So And then Maharaj explained that, whoever is not married, maybe they can go to that temple. And it's called Nitya Kalyana Perumal, because the Varaha Swami, Nitya Kalyana is not other than Perumal, there is none other than Varaha Swami temple.
Okay.
So then, he gets married every day. So the people who goes there, who are seeking marriage, if you take the garland of Varaha Swami and wear it and, circumambulate the temple for 9 times, that was the faith,
Okay. Yes.
Then what happened, many years she was not married. So then me and my wife took her in January 2019. And then, it may not be immediate marriage, but after 10 years of searching.
Mhm.
Today she got engaged, Prabhu. Today she got engaged. And then I was so happy. And then I did not know, what is this? Okay, finally she got engaged. I was happy. But guess what? Today is the Varaha Swami temple appearance day.
Appearance day, yes.
So then I related that how, Krishna's, if a spiritual master says something, and this is one of the Divya Desham, and this temple is very famous. It was built in between 6th and 9th century during the time of Tirumangai Alvar. So you see how she got engaged on the same day of Varaha Swami, and then we went there and got that garland a couple years ago. So that actually increased my faith 1,000 folds now. Even though it is a material benefit or whatever it is, when we have faith in Krishna, Krishna will never say no. So I thought of my, joy, thought of sharing the joy and see how the faith can definitely increase. These are some examples. Anyway, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Yes, sure, bro. Actually, even I can share, similar experience. Like in, I think in Hyderabad, I think there is a temple called Visa Balaji. Like everyone who wanted to come to US, they go and pray, and there are some procedure they do it. So, but they go, and I heard that like a lot of times who visit that temple, so they come to US. I did not visit, but besides, like for me, like in the initial stage of Krishna consciousness, I think my elder son, he was in middle school, I think. Once my brother-in-law visited us, or we were visiting them, and he asked me, so because he's growing, so do you have any plans for his college expenses? So I said, at this time, I don't know, I have some money, but I really don't know. Krishna will take care. That time I had like so much strong faith. I don't know, how I said that, I said that statement. But then as he was coming closer to the college, so then I started really worrying, like, really, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want to put him in so much debt. And somehow, when he was ready to go to the college, Krishna made the arrangements for me. So, but that really increased my faith, but still my practice and my offenses and all those things needs to be corrected. But he did. I made that statement that time knowingly or unknowingly. I don't know whatever it is, but Krishna made that happen actually for me.
Balram Prasad Prabhu, the temple, the place is called Thiruvidandai. It's a little outside.
I know, Mataji. This is on the way to ISKCON temple, Chennai.
Not on the way.
Further.
Yeah, further you have to go. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if no one else have any thoughts to share, maybe we can close down Lingaraj Prabhu. It's 7:40. And please forgive me. I extended than what I thought. I was thinking of closing the 7:25, but I had to extend by 5-10 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry. I know we are late, but I had a quick question.
Sure.
You mentioned about that if we have the thoughts in mind, but as long as we don't implement them, it's not considered sin. Would you be able to tell me where it is in?
Frankly, I repeated that I heard from the different lectures. I don't have a exact reference from which scripture it is, but like means from the material perspective, if you look at it, right, like means I'm just giving example, like means I want to do some bad to someone. Until I don't execute that physically, I won't get anything. Like me, assume that I want to go and commit killing someone, but until I don't do it, so I'm not eligible to get the sin. I'm just comparing with the material thing, but I don't know a specific scriptural reference. I don't know if Balram Prasad Prabhu or anyone, or Shri Kishore Prabhu has any thoughts on that reference. Maybe I would appreciate.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu.
Dhanavad.
Prabhu, I too heard that in some of the lectures only, but it seems Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes that statement, as far as I remember from what I heard, that the mental offenses are not counted. But then, yeah, as you also mentioned, there is a word of caution that the mental offenses doesn't remain at mental level for a long time if we don't strive to get rid of them. They actually turn into physical or verbal. So that is very offensive. So because, and that statement is spoken because in Kali Yuga, people's minds are very, it is very difficult to control one's mind, given the environment, given the anxieties and disturbances around. It is very difficult to control one's mind. And that's why, a thought which is a wrong thought is not generally, and we are not generally accounted for that. But when the thought, when we start deliberating on the thought and, just like Jayata Vishan Pumsa, then obviously that will turn into action. And that is what is condemned actually.
Yes, yeah.
Some kind of concession given for Kali Yuga people. That's what I understand, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's true, Prabhu. Thank you. Does it answer, Mataji?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Like I understand it. Of course, it changed my way of thinking because I would always feel bad if I had a like a wrong thought in my mind, and then of course mentally I would seek apology and stuff like that. But I have never come across like as a scriptural reference about that, so I was just curious. I know I also heard in several lectures about this, but I was just trying to relate it to a scriptural reference. So if anybody ever comes across, please share with me.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru and Garanga. Mataji, this is actually in one of the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 1. I forgot the exact chapter, but I can let you know. But it is in the purport of Srila Prabhupada in Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, Mataji. Maybe I'll read that out.
Yes, I will let you know once I find out the exact verse.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, I think it's 7:45. So, Lingraj Prabhu, if no one else has any questions or comments, we can close down.
Okay.
Thank you and have a great day, devotees.